What's the most rebellious teenager thing you've ever done? I wasn't the rebellious type at all. My biggest act of defiance was eating ice cream for breakfast once. But one December night changed everything about who I thought I was. I was walking home from my job at the library. Snow was coming down hard, and I just wanted to get inside. That's when I saw her crouched behind the dumpster next to Mike's Diner. A girl maybe 14 or 15, wearing nothing but a thin hoodie and gym shorts. She was shaking so bad I could see it from across the street. I stopped walking. "Hey, you okay over there?" She looked up at me with these huge scared eyes and didn't say anything, but I could see the bruises on her arms, dark purple ones that looked fresh. My stomach dropped. I pulled out my phone to call 911, but she jumped up and started running. Without thinking, I ran after her. She was fast, but she was also freezing and weak. I followed her through 3 blocks of side streets until she ducked into this abandoned parking garage behind the old Walmart. When I found her, she was curled up in a corner crying. "Please don't call them," she whispered. "Please don't send me back there." I sat down a few feet away from her, trying not to scare her more. "Back where?" I asked. She just shook her head and kept crying. That's when I made the craziest decision of my entire life. I took off my coat and handed it to her. "What's your name?" She looked at me for a long time before answering. "Jess." I nodded. "I'm Kayla, and you're coming home with me." My parents were asleep when we got to my house. I snuck Jess through the basement entrance and brought her upstairs to my room. She was still shivering, even wrapped in my coat. I grabbed every blanket I could find and made her a nest on my floor. Then I went to the kitchen and made her 2 grilled cheese sandwiches and hot chocolate. She ate like she hadn't seen food in days. When she was done, I showed her where the bathroom was so she could shower. While she was in there, I grabbed some of my clothes that might fit her. A sweatshirt, jeans, clean underwear, and socks. Everything she had on smelled like cigarettes and worse things. When my parents woke up the next morning, I told them everything. Well, almost everything. I said I found Jess at the bus stop and she had nowhere to go. My mom immediately started making breakfast for 3 people while my dad called some numbers he had for social services. But Jess panicked when she heard him on the phone. She grabbed my arm and begged me not to let them take her back to her foster home. That's when she told me what really happened. Her foster dad had been hitting her for months. When she threatened to tell someone, he said he'd kill her if she ever left the house. So she climbed out her bedroom window in the middle of the night and ran. She'd been hiding behind that dumpster for 2 days, eating scraps and drinking melted snow. She was terrified they'd drag her back there. I looked at my parents, and I could see they were thinking the same thing I was. We couldn't send her back to that. My dad called a different number instead. A women's shelter downtown that specialized in helping kids in situations like Jess's. They said they had space and could pick her up that afternoon. While we waited, my mom made Jess eat about 5 more meals, and my dad gave her one of his old hoodies that was way too big but super warm. I spent the morning showing her pictures on my phone and letting her play games to keep her mind off things. When the social worker showed up, Jess started crying again, but this time it was different. She hugged me so tight I could barely breathe and whispered, "Thank you," over and over. The social worker was this really nice woman named Mrs. Kim, who promised Jess she'd be safe and that they'd help her figure everything out. After they left, my parents sat me down for the longest lecture of my life. They weren't mad exactly, but they were scared about what could have happened if Jess had been dangerous, or if her foster family came looking for her. They grounded me for a month for bringing home a stranger without permission. But then my dad said something that stuck with me. He said sometimes doing the right thing means breaking the rules, and he was proud of me for choosing to help instead of walking away. My mom cried a little and said she hoped someone would do the same for me if I ever needed it.